Hello, I'm Cietta Gower, Grant Manager with the Office of Community Development. In this section, we will discuss grant fund requests. Payment requests should be timed to be in accordance with actual cash requirements of the grantee in carrying out the purpose of the project. The amount of grant funds requested should be for the actual expense amounts disbursed by the grantee. Payments to the grantee are subject to the grantee's submission and certification of eligible costs and any documentation required by the department. Once the grantee receives notice from the department that grant funds may now be requested, the grantee can submit a completed, signed expenditure summary and payment request form to their grant manager. Documents to support the expense reimbursement must be submitted with the request. No request for funds will be processed without the submission of the payment request form, proof of debt, proof of payment, and any subsequent lien waivers. Rebuild Illinois cash requests from the grantee reporting system will be entered by your grant manager. The grantee will submit a complete, signed expenditure summary and payment request form with all supporting documentation and lien waivers to your grant manager. A cash request will be initiated by your grant manager after a review of eligible costs and BEP obligations. Once approved, the grant manager will submit a request for the grant funds, and the grantee can expect the state comptroller to issue payment within 10 business days. The expenditure summary and payment request form and instructions will be sent to the grantee with the executed grant agreement. In this section, we will discuss quarterly reporting. The department collects quarterly financial and performance reports as a way to check the progress of a grantee's project. The department is required to document the use of awarded grant funds and the compliance with statutory and regulatory requirements. The Office of Community Development collects reports from grantees to monitor the compliance of the use of grant funds and program regulations. Grant funds must be expended on grant agreement allowable items and be approved by the responsible grantee official. The quarterly periodic financial and periodic performance report forms will be sent to the grantee with the executed grant agreement. Project financial updates are reported on a uniform GATA form called the Quarterly Periodic Financial Report, or PFR. Project performance updates are reported on a uniform GATA form called the Quarterly Periodic Performance Report, or PPR. Both reports are due quarterly and at closeout. The PFR and PPR should be scanned as one document and sent to the grant manager. Please label the document with the grant number, grantee name, QPFPR, and the end date of the reporting quarter. Please see the example on this slide. Current report period expenses reported on the PFR must include the submission of supporting documentation that exactly matches the dollar amount you are reporting for each source of funds. Report the expense in the quarter in which you have a complete transaction. A complete transaction includes the debt verification, the payment verification, and the deposits of grant funds covering the expenses being reported in that period. Do not report expenses until you have all of the supporting documentation. Include the expenditure summary and payment request form as part of the support documentation for the reporting period. In the first few pages of the grant agreement, you will find the information you need to fill in the top portion of the PFR and the PPR. You'll find the grantee name, the grant number, the CSFA, or Catalog of State Financial Assistance, the FEAN, the UEI, which is the Unique Entity ID, and it replaces the DUNS number, and you will find the agreement period. Please use the correct program name, for example, Rebuild Illinois Fast Track. The report period is the quarterly time frame you are reporting information. The CFDA, Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance, will not be used for Rebuild Illinois programs. On the PFR, there should be no indirect cost rate, there should be no program restriction, there should be no mandatory match. However, if Exhibit B of the grant agreement shows other funds to complete the project, please list other funds source. In cell S, specify match. In cell Y, fill in the category and approved budget amount from Exhibit B of the grant agreement. If you are reporting expenses for the quarter in which you are reporting, please list those expenses under Current Period Grant Expense. If you are reporting a match or other fund amount, please list it as either cash or in kind, and then list the total match or other fund amount applied to date. The second page of the PFR needs to be signed by the authorized official, the mayor, village president, county board chair, or it can be signed by the designee who is indicated in the grant agreement. For the expenses being reported on the PFR, you must submit your supporting documentation. To complete the PPR, you will find information for Cell 14, Deliverable, in Exhibit B of the grant agreement. For example, 1210, Construction. Cell 15, Due Date, is the end date of the grant agreement. Cell 16, Date Completed, is the end date of the quarter or a specific date in that quarter that an activity was completed. Cell 17 is Deliverable Explanation, such as project is on schedule, or you may report something specific like open bids. Remember, it is during the quarter that you are reporting on. Cell 18 is from Exhibit E in the grant agreement. Cell 19 should be end of the grant. Cell 20 will be blank until the final report. The second page of the PPR needs cell 22 and 23 answered. The PPR also needs to be signed by the grantee's authorized official. The Illinois Works Apprenticeship Report is submitted quarterly to your grant manager. You can obtain a copy of the form from the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative under their program documents. Please use the website listed on the slide. Please reach out to your grant manager if you have any questions or problems completing these forms. Thank you.